Hey there, YouTube family. Dr. K here, back with another video. And welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if this is your first time. Here on my channel, Winning in Your Education Career, we talk all things winning. So whatever that may mean to you, whether you're new coming into the teaching profession, whether you're looking to go from teacher to teacher leader or to principal, or if you're looking to leave the teaching profession altogether, we talk all things about education here on this channel. So today we are going to talk about this phenomenon of teacher burnout. And more specifically, we're going to talk about how to avoid burnout and embrace self-care. So let's talk about burnout. You may have heard this term floating around in your schools, probably in your colleges back when you were there, certainly in the teachers' lounges where you are now, that there are many teachers who are quitting and leaving the profession, and really the result of that being that they just burnt out from teaching. So what is burnout? I'm going to talk to you about this burnout thing from the perspective of teachers are just doing too much work. We know that. I have a book that I'm going to link for you down in the description, and I want to read and get the name correct. It's called The Weekend Effects, The Life-Changing Benefits of Taking Time Off and Challenging the Cult of Overwork. I am a believer that the American society works way too much. I have lived out of the country, I have worked out of the country, and no one works as much as we do. So our teachers who are quitting, they are overworked and they're burning out. So burnout is not just your normal, I'm tired, I feel run down. It is a chronic stress condition that can lead to, of course, exhaustion, several physical or emotional health problems. It can make you feel detached from the joys of life. You feel like you're just kind of running around on that hamster wheel. Nothing ever changes. Nothing ever gets better. Excuse me. You're always tired and you're always feeling overworked. So I want you, as you're listening to this video, just take a couple of notes to make sure this is not you. I have 4 signs I want you to be on the lookout to see if you are experiencing teacher or even principal burnout, because principals burn out as well. So the first sign is you are having fatigue or sleep issues. So you're just not normally one day you wake up tired, you are chronically tired. You've been tired for a while. You're having problems getting to sleep, staying asleep, you have insomnia, and then you wake up in the morning and you're tired. So if you feel like this has been a persistent problem for you, where you're thinking now, you know what, yeah, I've been tired for more than a couple of days. It's not just because it's coming up on Christmas. I've been tired. Check that box. This is something for you to be thinking about if you're experiencing or having symptoms of burnout. So the second symptom of burnout is you're being forgetful and you have this intense problem with concentration. Now think about it. If you are a teacher or you are a principal, concentration is the name of the game, right? You have to be on task. You have to know what's happening in your classroom or in your school building. You have to make sure you're monitoring the kids all the time. You have to be mentally there. And if you feel like you're forgetting the little things, I forgot my keys today, I forgot to lock the classroom door, I forgot to take that note down to the office because Johnny was getting on a different bus today. If you feel like that's chronic, not just you did it one time, but persistent, you may be experiencing burnout, and it's something for you to consult your doctor about. So the third sign of burnout will do with your appetite or weight changes. So your appetite is increasing or decreasing. Now, of course, we all want our appetite to decrease because that means we're losing weight, which is wonderful if it's healthy. If it's not healthy, then it's a problem. If your weight is going up or significantly dropping and you're not exercising, you're seeing these drastic changes in your weight or appetite, that could be a sign that you are experiencing burnout and something for you to think about. And then our final sign of burnout is, and this is the sign that I really want you to take heed to. It's called this depression and anxiety trap. So you notice one day you were down, and then the next day you think about it, I've been down and depressed for the last week or 2 weeks or 3 months. That's not healthy or normal. All of us get depressed from time to time. Your depression and anxiety should not be persistent. You should not be sitting in your car each morning before you go to work crying, or dashing out to your car for lunch crying because, oh my gosh, I can't wait until it's 3 o'clock. Now, we've all been on jobs where we are waiting for the time for us to leave the building ticks around. We've all done that, but not to the point where it's debilitating. It should not be taking up all of your waking thoughts where you're like, oh my gosh, I really cannot wait to get out of this place. I hate my life. I hate my job. If you're having thoughts like that and you feel like you've been having thoughts like that for a while, persistent, yeah, you could be suffering from burnout. So let's think about it. We talked about fatigue and sleep issues, your forgetfulness, your inability to concentrate, appetite or weight increases or decreases, and then depression and anxiety. 4 signs that you may be suffering from burnout, and we need to be thinking about bringing this up with your healthcare provider, not ignoring them. This is not going to go away just by itself. Okay, so let's flip into the other side. How can you avoid burnout? What can you do? What are your self-care routines that you can do as a teacher or principal to avoid burnout? So I have 10 for you that I really want you to do and think about. So you can, number 1, put this in a journal somewhere, put this sticky note on your window when you're driving to work, or on your mirror, bathroom mirror, when you're getting dressed in the morning. The first thing you can do to avoid burnout is to prioritize self-care. So don't let anyone shame you into thinking, self-care, that's just a new buzzword and, we're all doing it. We're all not doing it. Clearly, we have teachers leaving the classrooms in droves. So we're not prioritizing self-care. Self-care is a priority that you must put down on your to-do list, just like you put down everything else, and not feel guilty about it. It is a priority that you should be thinking about, that you need to increase your health. So number 1 is to prioritize self-care. Number 2 is, when you're thinking about self-care tips that you can do on the job, think about, you're in your office, you're in your job 7 to 8 hours a day in your classroom, in your school building. So let's talk about eating right. Don't eat terribly unhealthy lunches as a way to placate your depression or anxiety. So you're depressed and you're thinking, I'm depressed, my kids are acting crazy today, my principal screamed at me, my spouse was acting up, my own kids are acting up, so I'm going to have a cheesesteak today, I'm going to have a 3-piece chicken dinner today, a big old lunch or a big old meal for lunch. That could really make you sluggish after you have that big meal, and then maybe even contribute to some of your depression and anxiety issues. So try to make sure that you're eating well on the job. Stick to your veggies. If you want a piece of chicken, maybe 1 piece of chicken, but have veggies and fruits in there. So you're mixing things up and you're energizing your body. You're fueling your body with healthy food versus non-healthy food. Now, again, I've been a teacher and I've been a principal, and we tend to eat on the fly. I know it's always 10,000 things you need to be doing on your break. But again, number one is to prioritize self-care. So this needs to be prioritized. Healthy eating. Number two, I know this is going, or number three, I know this is going to sound terrible for those teachers and principals who never can find a bathroom when we need it, but you really should try to stay hydrated. Now, again, I've been a teacher, I've been a principal, and there are times when I couldn't get to the bathroom because my schedule was so packed. It's difficult, but we know water fuels the body. I feel much better when I'm drinking water. I can feel when I'm dehydrated. I haven't had any water all day. My mouth is dry. I'm hungry, so then I'm starting to crave unhealthy meals. Try to stay hydrated. So if you can make a pact with your teacher next door to your classroom, just say, I'm drinking water today, and if I need to step into your classroom while you run to the bathroom for 5 minutes, I will do that. Will you do the same for me? You can be bathroom buddies. I know it sounds terrible, but teachers don't have the same luxuries of being able to go to the bathroom when we want to, because we have 30 babies standing and staring in our face, and we can't just dash out when we need to. But you can have a bathroom buddy, so stay hydrated. Number four is one I want you to really circle and think about. Avoid toxicity in your work environment as much as possible. And I'm looking at my notes here because I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Stay out of that teacher's lounge. I know you've heard this before. The teacher's lounge is where your negative Nancys and your Debbie Downers tend to congregate. And boy, can they suck you in. Even though they have some legitimate concerns. They're not making stuff up. Stuff is crazy sometimes in some of these schools, and some things are not run correctly, and they have a lot to say that is right. But you don't want to get infected with toxicity or negativity. So you really have to do a conscious effort of staying away from those people, particularly when you're vulnerable. If you're already depressed and you're like, oh, I've been in a slump all week, I definitely cannot deal with negative Nancy or Debbie Downer today. So stay away from toxicity. That's number four. Another one, number five, is an area we don't think about as teachers because we're always on the go, and principals too, keeping your workspace clean. And boy, I've had to do this. There have been times as a principal where I would have papers all over my desk, in the chairs in front of me, and you're spacing stuff out. And we know an untidy office space or untidy work area is an untidy mind. Sometimes you're so overwhelmed because the papers around you are so high, reminding you of all the work that you have to do, that you feel like, okay, I'm just never going to get this done. Clear a clean path for your desk. Even if you have those stacks that you have to put away, put them away. Just so you can have a clean desk to work with and you can keep your mind clear. Okay, my next one is take a deep breath. Take deep breaths during the day. And maybe this is something you can also get your kids to do. Every hour, give them 2 minutes of deep breathing. You stop and we all deep breathe, and you deep breathe and your students deep breathe, and you take it up and you take it down. You have to sometimes give yourself time to reflect, and I know deep breathing is this woo-woo thing, but it works. We're always, as educators, on the go, and you've got to be able to settle down when you need to. Number 7 seems like something you probably can't do, but it's exercise in your classroom. So, see if you can walk in place 5 minutes. When you take your kids down to gym or lunch, you can maybe take another lap around the school building. Go to the bathroom, because these are your only times, right? But then take another lap. Try to get in extra exercising when you can. If you can't take another lap, or the outside hallway is too crowded, too noisy, and you just want to get to your room, go in your room, go to the back of the room and do 15 minutes or 10 minutes of stretching. Get some exercise in so you feel like, I've gotten some exercise in today, and when I go home, Even if it's only 5 minutes, it's 5 more minutes than I had the day before. So try to do some exercising. I really recommend the stretching. Number 8, take your lunch. I know we only get a half an hour for lunch. Some of you who are lucky may get a full hour. I was a principal and I got 20 minutes. But you know what? I took 20 minutes. I remember my first mentor principal, when she was training me, that was something she honed in, she drowned into me. You must take your lunch, you must take your lunch. Even if it's only 15 minutes a day, it will matter. And in the beginning, I'll admit my first year as a principal, I was so busy. I thought I was super principal and I could never take a break. I learned very quickly that yes, I can. So my secretary knew. I may not have taken the same time every day, but every day I took 20 minutes. And my lunch was sometimes just a bottle of water and some grapes, but I went out to my car, whether it was summertime or wintertime, and I worked in Pennsylvania, and I sat in my car and I de-stressed. I put on some soft jazz music. Sometimes I didn't have any music on. I just did my breathing. I drank my water. I ate my food just for 20 minutes. So if you get that time, sometimes, yeah, I know you're going to have to work, but there are times where you can take your lunch. So lock your door. Don't bond with your classmates or your colleagues next door. Go in the back of the room, cut your lights off, and take your lunch and de-stress. Number 9. This is important, and I learned this both as a teacher and as a principal. Do not stay late to school every day. Let me repeat that. Do not stay late every day. Now, I know this is probably counterintuitive to my other video when I'm talking to you about how to get that promotion and how to be seen by your principal, but you have to be strategic. You have to pick no more than 2 or 3 days where you say, these are the days I'm staying late. I picked as a principal 3 days. I would stay late Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Monday and Friday, I left when I could leave regular time, barring any emergencies. So you should be doing the same. And you let your team members know, these are the days that I'm staying late this year or this semester, and I might change it next semester based on my family's needs or, you know, what my family has going on. But these are the 2 or 3 days that I am staying late. And the other days, if you want to do a late meeting, if it's not on these days, I cannot accommodate you. Now, if you tell people this up front, it'll be fine. But do not stay late every day, because you will get in the habit of staying late every day and it will become the norm. And then you will get depressed and you'll be filled with anxiety and you'll become overwhelmed. And then number 10, final thing to do to embrace your self-care and avoid burnout is do not work all weekend. Not all day Saturday and not all day Sunday. Now, of course, when you have report card conferences and you have things going on, there will be times that you have to put in some extra work. But I'm talking just regularly. You should say Saturdays, if that's your day, this is my family day. This is my day to veg out and watch Netflix. I'm not working. Now, I may pick work back up on Sunday, but I also will set a time limit. I still do that to this day. I work on Sunday. I do no work on Saturday. I don't respond to emails from my colleagues or my boss or my students. Sunday, I will pick back up and I start at usually 5 p.m. and I'll go to about 8 or 9, and that's it. You have to make boundaries work for you and your family. You are not going to subscribe to what this young lady talked about in her book, and again, I'll link it below, this cult of overwork. We're not going to be a cult of people who just work ourselves into an early grave. So you are going to embrace self-care, tell them Dr. K said you can do it, and I want to hear about your experiences below in the comments. What do you do for self-care? Did I miss any things on here for self-care that you do that you want to share with the community? Or let us know how your self-care routine is coming along. All right, guys, that's it for now. I'll look forward to you coming with me along this journey in my next video. Take care.